Hello, and welcome to the BLOXOTIC Supercar Collective and BXXFLEET LLC Investor Information Presentation. The specific investment opportunity being discussed here is actually for BXXFLEET LLC. There are a variety of reasons for dividing the overall entity into two distinct and separately operated companies, and we'll be getting into that in much further detail during the presentation. So, what is BXXFLEET, and how does it relate to supercars, the blockchain, utility tokens, ICOs, and cryptocurrency? The short version is that BXXFLEET, as the name implies, is the entity that will actually own the vehicles in the fleet, which it will lease to BLOXOTIC at a reasonable profit. BXXFLEET is not directly associated with any cryptocurrency or token offering and derives its revenues in good old-fashioned fiat currency. BXXFLEET is a simple Wyoming limited liability company, and the offering herein is fully SEC compliant and available to U.S. investors. Of course, to understand the need for BXXFLEET and the market being served, we must first understand its only customer, BLOXOTIC Supercar Collective. What is it? Who does it serve? What are the product and service offerings, and how does that relate to the blockchain? We'll cover all of these points and more before getting back to the rather simple investment opportunity represented by BXXFLEET LLC. So, BLOXOTIC Supercar Collective is, quite simply, designed to be the ultimate resource for supercar and luxury exotic automobile enthusiasts around the globe. Blockchain technology makes much of the desired functionality possible, and cryptocurrency funding, via a multi-round initial coin offering, or ICO, brings the expense of creating such a thing within reach. The founders of BLOXOTIC are being 100% genuine when we say that we conceived of the ultimate supercar club because there simply wasn't one to join. So yes, we're building it for us. We also openly admit that not one founding member of BLOXOTIC is in a financial position to put a $350,000 supercar, let alone dozens or even hundreds of them, in our garage. And that's great, because it makes us just like our millions of potential customers. We identify with each and every one of them and are dedicated to building for them the club that we would have gladly joined had it existed. Based upon the tens of millions of viewers of supercar-related content on YouTube alone, we conservatively arrive at over 23 million enthusiasts worldwide. And that in no way accounts for those that still prefer traditional media such as print, television, live shows, meetups, and exhibits to sate their supercar hunger. Shown here is the breakdown of subscribers to the top 24 YouTube channels featuring almost exclusively supercar content. Of course, in order to remain conservative, we need to allow for some fairly reductive math. However, even if we take away 85% of those viewers due to redundant subscriptions, such as my 12, and underaged viewers, that leaves a solid and respectable 3.5 million potential customers, and they're extremely easy to reach. To make BLOXOTIC a viable global entity, we need only attract 1.5% of those total potential customers, and we can attain profitability long before reaching anything approaching that scale. Now, 1.5% does not sound that large until one realizes that BLOXOTIC's current projections are based upon scaling only to around 50,000 members. While the business has the ability to scale considerably higher, even at such a modest global membership, expected profitability remains high. If you're not a supercar enthusiast, it might seem difficult to believe that there is so much interest in these crazy $300,000 to $1 million vehicles. However, over the past 2 years, this segment has been growing at more than double the rate of the rest of the auto industry. Of course, for every one person fortunate enough to be able to purchase such a luxury, there are over 10,000 enthusiasts that wish they had direct access. Those people form the core of our future member base. While still a relatively male-dominated hobby, those days are definitely numbered. Women, especially affluent women under 40, represent one of the fastest-growing segments in exotic auto sales. We believe that BLOXOTIC will actually help to accelerate that trend by making supercars even more accessible in a world where the wage gap is often much greater for top-end earners than for those at the bottom. In other words, by creating affordable access to these beautiful machines in equally luxurious settings, BLOXOTIC may see even greater female adoption than the market as a whole. As more women are attracted to the lifestyle, more pics like this are going to start flooding the social channels of the internet. At BLOXOTIC, we are fully expecting and have every intention of stoking a wildfire of interest among women over the next 3 to 5 years. That is why most of our galleries will resemble less a stuffy old men's club and more a chic museum or auto spa. Currently, if you can't afford a supercar, one option is fractional ownership. However, that too usually comes at a price of over $50,000 just to buy in. The lowest point of entry is exotic vehicle rentals, and there are a few companies out there that are reputable, reliable, and have great vehicles on offer. In fact, there is now such interest that even the major car rental agencies are getting into the act. Well, they think they are anyway. The problem with virtually all rental agencies, large or small, is that they don't provide access to the whole supercar lifestyle. They just throw you the keys and say, "Have fun." And that's not the true supercar lifestyle. This is. And sometimes just taking a supercar out to your favorite dinner spot or on a shopping spree is all you need. Other times you may be looking to drive at 9/10 on some of the most beautiful driving roads in the world. And sometimes, maybe even just once in a lifetime, you want to explore the awesome performance of these machines at 10/10 on a racetrack with a professional instructor. These are just some of the things that make up the total supercar experience. No BLOXOTIC member ever just drives off with a vehicle until they know enough to look and feel like they own it. Which side is the gas cap on? Where are the headlight and washer switches? Does the car have a parking brake? Where and how big are the blind spots? BLOXOTIC members actually take delivery of each new model just as though they had purchased it. Members are shown every feature and are given a free but mandatory 10 to 15 minute instructional drive before they are sent off on their own. This simple, luxurious lifestyle experience and club policy is expected to reduce incidents of vehicle damage and accidents by up to 50% over the unfortunately high industry averages, and help club members to stay safe and keep their deposits. So we are creating Gallery 1. Our first luxury supercar club location designed to be so much more than just a place you go to pick up a car. We are taking design inspiration from some of the most beautiful and luxurious vehicle showrooms and private museums in the world, and then extending those concepts to include a boutique coffee shop, merchandise mart, and cafe, quiet, contemplative viewing areas, and areas for congregation and lively discussions, all to make the club itself a destination, even if you're not taking out a car today. Gallery 1, to be located in the southwestern suburbs of Chicago, is our test bed where we intend to perfect the model before using it as a guide for the opening of up to 14 other galleries around the globe. Because it is where the founders live, Gallery 1 is being located just outside Chicago, Illinois, USA. But all future gallery locations will be determined by a combination of member demographics, where our members are at, and member voting on most desirable global locations. Whether it's just about cruising the high streets of London, or carving up the mountain passes of Switzerland, or coastal highways of Chile, BLOXOTIC members will make up the bulk of the decision process for where we establish Gallery 2, 3, and 15. Until BLOXOTIC has sufficient geographical coverage to serve our global member base, we will be offering exclusive fly and drive packages, and for carbon members and above, we'll actually pick up the first night in a luxury hotel so you can hit the road awake and refreshed. Also, though no replacement for an actual gallery, BLOXOTIC is also working toward our tokens being accepted as both payment and deposit with a highly select group of exotic auto rental companies around the world. Membership is based upon a combination of token holdings and club activity. Membership tiers are designed to both keep the club accessible and to ensure sufficient levels of privilege and reward for those that are the most heavily invested in and/or active within the club. Another key difference between BLOXOTIC Supercar Collective and other vehicle sources is the fact that our entire business model is built upon a delicate balance between accessibility and exclusivity. And it's very specifically not built around volume. If we were serving outside investors or shareholders, we would have to move as many cars per day as possible in order to maximize shareholder value. Not so with our member-owned cryptocurrency model. We need only rent enough vehicles to ensure that we can continue to sustain and expand our offerings. Everything is run by members, for members. So, what in all this makes BLOXOTIC a technology company? 3 items, really. Our entire front and back end are blockchain driven. The entire club is cryptocurrency funded and utility token operated. No cash, credit, or any other form of payment will be accepted for goods and services within the club. So, why are we relying upon cryptocurrency funding? Well, let's talk through these bullet points in some detail. First of all, supercar fleets are expensive, which requires us to have faster than usual access to massive amounts of capital. ICOs allow us to remove the conflict of interest that would be created if we were forced to use traditional investors. Then we would be working for them rather than our members. It also allows us to incentivize early adopters and creates a growth structure that ties directly to club performance. Why blockchain tech? Simply put, for all of the things that blockchain technology brings to the table that would be difficult or impossible to create and secure without it. Blockchain provides secure, trustless technology that enables transparency, creates immutable records, and simplifies contracts. It provides us with an international currency with no central point of failure, thus preventing hacks and data loss. It leverages next-gen technology rather than being built on databases designed in the 1980s. And with proper sidechain usage, it scales evenly throughout the organization. One more huge advantage that we will have over the majority of market players is our vast internal experience with the maintenance and upkeep of exotic sports and luxury vehicles. Put simply, even other existing exotic car rental companies are already relying upon that very expertise. What this means to BLOXOTIC is that we can buy late and run longer, saving and generating hundreds of thousands of additional dollars as we monetize these rapidly depreciating assets. Here's a perfect example. That means that in the end, we would come out over $300,000 ahead of most other agencies on the exact same car. Multiply that by up to 300 vehicles, and it's easy to see what a massive advantage this is. So, let's talk numbers. The ICO funding in 1 private and 3 public rounds is expected to be between 12 million and 56 million. There will be 500 million BXTC utility tokens minted, with a starting valuation for the private ICO of 20 cents per token. Final round 3 ICO valuation of the BXTC token is expected to be around 51 cents. Fixed valuation of the BXTZ non-traded token will be at 50 cents. We anticipate having between 3 and 15 galleries depending upon the ICO raise. Similarly, between 60 and 300 vehicles in our total fleet, depending, again, upon the success of the ICO raise. Our current team is comprised of seasoned professionals with long track records in their respective areas of expertise. And we are immensely pleased to announce that we have representation agreements pending with two of the hottest ICO launch teams in the business. We now need to complete our seed capital phase so that we can keep up with these teams as they take us out into all of the right circles, events, interviews, and so forth to help ensure the rapid success of our ICO. Some key notes regarding our token allocation structure. Advisors includes tokens that are set aside for the previously mentioned ICO partners, who carry a heavy back-end fee. Developers. Having managed development teams for decades, we believe that getting top-flight talent is more important than saving money. And if you want someone to take ownership and give you their very best, give them a seat at the financial table. As to the rather massive bounty budget, that really serves two purposes. One, it allows us to highly incentivize the often somewhat jaded professional influencers, and it provides an almost guaranteed supply of available tokens for left-out U.S. token buyers the moment that our tokens hit the major exchanges. So, what about U.S. members? Sadly, due to the uncertainties posed by the current U.S. securities landscape, U.S. buyers will be excluded from all ICO token sales. U.S. citizens that wish to participate in the club will do so via the BXTZ Fixed Value Club Use Only token, until the BXTC token is listed. Which takes us all the way back to this actual opportunity, BXXFLEET LLC. As the only U.S. pre-listing opportunity, BXXFLEET will be the entity that actually owns the vehicles, and this is highly desirable for two reasons. The first of which is actually to separate assets from potential liabilities. No matter how well insured, there will always be an element of risk when allowing comparatively inexperienced individuals behind the wheel of 500, 600, and even 700 horsepower vehicles. In this way, even if there is a lawsuit that exceeds our insured coverage, the single largest asset, the fleet, will not be in jeopardy, as they are only being leased by the club for commercial purposes. Secondly, this arrangement provides us with a fully SEC-compliant vehicle, no pun intended, for U.S. investors to become involved in the early stages of the company. The current offering, a Reg D 506C private placement memorandum, is a min-max arrangement at $100K and $500K. In other words, if we raise less than $100,000, all funds will be returned to the investors, as anything less than that amount will not allow us to successfully execute on our business plan. Similarly, if we raise anything over $500,000, anything additional will also be returned to those investors, as the investment is capped at $500,000, which equates to roughly 20% of the LLC. In an effort to make this opportunity more accessible, two different unit sizes have been created for the offering. A $5,000 unit size, of which there are 20 blocks available, and a $25,000 unit size, of which there are 16. Investments in BXXFLEET LLC can be made in cryptocurrency or by traditional bank check or wire. Non-crypto funds should be made in US dollars. Crypto funds can be made in either Ethereum or Bitcoin, wallet addresses to be provided privately. Risks and benefits of equity participation in BXXFLEET LLC are spelled out in the BXXFLEET LLC Private Placement Memorandum, available upon request. The risks associated with participating in the BXXFLEET LLC private placement are the same as those for any other startup or early stage venture. Some of these, but certainly not all, are: the resultant ICO could fail to raise its minimum. The company could simply fail. The financial markets could crash, making costs of funds too high to support vehicle financing. The cryptocurrency markets could crash or be shut down, rendering the BXTC token, and every other token, valueless. The club could sustain large losses due to accidents or lawsuits involving underinsured drivers. The cost of fuel could skyrocket to levels that no longer support running high-performance exotic cars. Laws and regulations concerning cryptocurrencies, car clubs, and/or car rental services could change unfavorably. An asteroid or other planet-killer event could decimate planet Earth or a major portion thereof, thereby making driving for fun less desirable of an activity than rounding up plump, succulent rats for dinner. Frankly, anything could happen. However, our crack management team will do everything in our power to mitigate these risks, other than the asteroid rat thing. Sorry. This use of proceeds sheet shows you the difference between our minimum raise and our maximum raise within the private placement, and shows where every one of those dollars will be spent. Key here is that none of those dollars is spent on commissions for the fundraising itself, as it is all being conducted directly by the founders of the company, in accordance with SEC law. Thanks so much for your interest in BLOXOTIC Supercar Collective and BXXFLEET LLC. Please feel free to reach out to us via any of our social media channels, or feel free to reach out to me directly at matt.d@bxxfleet.com.